Good morning. I'm in Segovia and it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. Behind me is the little alleyway with my hostel, which is just down here over this balcony. You just barely see the sign down there. And in front of me, the opposite direction, this beautiful view. The lights are just hitting this aqueduct back here, a giant Roman aqueduct. Pretty awesome. As you might guess, the aqueduct is pretty much the main feature here in Segovia. It is absolutely huge and stunning. Of course, it's a beautiful city with wonderful little winding streets and a cathedral, but this is the star of the show here. I'm on a quest right now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking for breakfast. Nothing is open. Can't find anything. It's interesting because here in Spain they eat their dinner around 10 o'clock at night, and then no idea when they do their breakfast. I may have found a shop. Yes, score. Let me go in here and see if I can get some breakfast. Definitely working on my Spanish skills this morning. This wonderful young lady over here speaks only Spanish, no English, so I'm getting croissant. Getting the croissant and some coffee. This is what €2 will buy you. A lot of places have the same special. Actually, most of Europe will have a €2 special where you get coffee with some sort of bread like a croissant. I found another cafe. This one has prices with pictures outside. Pretty much it's the same as the other one that I was just at. I just love this time of day. Evening and morning, that quote-unquote golden hour is just gorgeous, especially here in Spain. The church back here is just gorgeous, really incredible. I think it's interesting that several places in Europe, they've renamed Dunkin' Donuts from the United States with Dunkin' Coffee. It's probably a better branding, a better way to sell over here in Europe with the coffee first and making it a coffee shop that also sells donuts. So they've sort of changed the emphasis, and that's probably due to Starbucks influence throughout the world and the popularity of coffee. So Dunkin' has gone into most of the large cities in Western Europe, and you'll see the shop a lot. Right by the aqueduct there is a set of steps that goes up to a viewpoint. I'm going to walk up here, but that's probably all I'm going to be able to do. My hip is already starting to hurt me a little bit, so probably get up to the top and just have to sit for 15-20 minutes before I'll be able to walk again. Speaking of my hip, I've been talking the past few days with my friend Nicole, and she's had some experience with various kinds of leg pains, lower back, things like that. And she asked me a bunch of questions, and it made me really think about what's happening with the hip. And I think somehow my mind is blocking out the pain from my lower back, because now that I focus on it and I actually try to go through my body part by part, my lower back is just all, I don't know, inflamed, swollen, something like that, sort of a burning sensation there, and I can't lay flat on my back for very long at all, and various positions sitting are extremely uncomfortable. So I think they're related. I think the lower back, maybe the lower spinal cord, like the discs, may be somehow pinched or compressed. Anyway, I think they're swollen, and I think that that's transferring over or affecting the hip. So anyway, I think it's all related. Not exactly great news, but that is progress, and I think that's a step in the right direction of figuring out what's going on so that I can figure out how to either reduce the discomfort or possibly figure out a way to solve it. I'm up on top of the platform looking down over the aqueduct. It's pretty awesome up here. This is the little area that I walked up, and then over here, the aqueduct. It's gorgeous. I think my hip's about done for, and need to take a break, so I'm gonna head back to the hostel. It's about 2 blocks from here. Do some video editing, a little bit of client work. I've mentioned before I own a graphic design company and I'm mostly retired, but occasionally I accept new projects, and I've got a website project that I'm actually building for a friend of a friend, and going to be working on that. And probably all of you are well aware of the hurricane that just passed through Florida, Irma, and that passed up the coast and missed Tampa and went inland just a little bit over a small city called Lakeland. And Lakeland is where all of my rental properties are. So the eye of the hurricane went right through Lakeland, or slightly to the west. And I'm waiting to hear back from my property manager to see if there's any damage or how much damage, and make sure the tenants are okay. So number 1 concern, make sure the tenants are safe. Number 2 concern, finding out what damage has been done and make sure that the very basics are taken care of, so the tenants have a place to live that's safe and they're not, you know, exposed to the elements. So that's been on my mind a little bit. I just finished going back to the hostel, editing another video, and I'm headed out to get a bite to eat, and I saw this statue just outside of my hostel next to the aqueduct. This is quite interesting. It looks like some sort of a wolf, and it's feeding some little babies here. Rather impatient lady up back there. She was like, let's go, let's go. She didn't want to let me do my video. Headed out to get a bite to eat for lunch. I'm not really feeling great today. I did not sleep well last night. Really big problems in the beds at that particular hostel. It's a nice hostel, but the bed situation is not too great. So didn't sleep well and have a little bit of congestion going on, sore throat, runny nose, feeling weak. That's not fun when it's beautiful like this and you just want to be outside exploring. So I'm gonna get to bite to eat and probably just go back and lay down. My favorite sandwich in all of Europe, anywhere in the world, is the doner kebab. And this guy has about 8 variations of it. The doner kebab, which is my favorite, is up at the top. That's the German version. And it's just an amazing sandwich. €4 here. That's what I'm going to get for my lunch. This doner is so huge. It's almost like a sloppy Joe to eat something this big with so many ingredients put into a space. But it's just delicious. I finished my meal, but I'm going through these miniature napkins like crazy because it's like a sloppy Joe. It's just really, really messy. I probably went through 8 or 10 of these little things. They're hardly absorbing anything. But it was delicious. I'm gonna pay my bill, head back to the hostel. One of the slight dilemmas that I have is I now have 2 channels, and one of them is dedicated to the step van. When I'm traveling like I am today in Spain, what do I do with the step van channel? How do I produce new content for it? This is the dormitory that I've been sleeping in. Here you can sort of see the problem that I'm having with the beds. My shoulder is hitting the top bed up here. I can't even crawl on my hands and knees without my back hitting it. Sitting in bed with my knees tucked up forward, they pretty much hit the top bunk. So there just wasn't enough room. And I just couldn't get in and out. And the second part is the mattresses were really, really hard. And it was really light in here. The windows weren't covered last night. I'll have to see if I can get it darker tonight. The third problem I was having was with the blankets. The blankets were a winter blanket and a sheet and nothing in between. So I was either too hot or too cold and couldn't get the temperature sort of in the middle. So I probably only slept, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes last night. I'm extremely tired. Already taken 1 nap today. I'm going to take another, hopefully get another couple hours sleep in. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Savor the moment. See you next episode.